Hello everyone, I'm Jay Coker, Chairman of the Board of Producers Rice Mill. We're coming to you like we have in the previous years with a spring planting report. Currently, we're in mid-April in Arkansas, and we're about 50% planted throughout Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and the Boot Heel of Missouri. We planted this rice field that we're in right now about 3 weeks ago, so this is indicative of a lot of the rice that was planted earlier. It's 2 to 3 leaf, and this rice being planted at this date and planted at this growth stage, this will be harvested around the 3rd week of August. So that gives you a perspective of how long this rice will take to develop. This year, just like other years, it's been quite unusual. We've gone from one extreme to the other. We've had an extended period of dry weather that has put some extreme pressure on some of the growing conditions, but currently the crop is developing. We're seeing some issues that are having to be addressed by doing some flushing and having to do things that we would not normally do this time of year. We'll talk about that more later. But the weather, we're about 50% of our rainfall total right now. So that's impacting some of the decisions that growers are making as far as the management of the crop, the things that they can or can't do as the crop develops. So we're seeing some unusual circumstances that we haven't seen in a while according to our weather data. I think everyone is aware that rice is an aquatic crop and typically grows in a shallow flood. So this field, we will start that process in a few weeks, probably a little earlier than what maybe we think we would with this planting date. With the dry weather, we've also seen warmer temperatures, so some people feel like the crop is a little further along than what it may typically have been according to the planting date. The flooding process will be through what we call contour levees, which is representative of a lot of the rice acreage in Arkansas. There are other ways that we grow rice, but some fields just require the contour levees, and so that's what's represented here. The flood will come onto this rice at a certain time period and will cascade down through the field, through the terraces, and will hold a shallow flood on that rice for a short period of time. This rice is getting close to that stage. We like to see it starting to tiller, getting 4 to 6 leaves. So, this is getting close to that, much closer than what I thought it would be. The rice crop in the Mid-South is typically planted over a pretty wide planting window. We've got about 6 weeks that's considered optimum throughout this area, throughout this region for rice planting. We've already come from a field that was planted 3 weeks ago, represent some of the earliest planted rice, the soils in the fields that dry out first. We're standing in a field currently that was just planted yesterday, so it's facing a different set of circumstances. We talked about the dry weather. A field like this, it's dry, there's not a lot of soil moisture, so we'll have to do a flush, or we'll somehow mitigate the lack of rainfall with a flush through this field, an irrigation practice that we use all throughout the rice growing area. It'll promote germination, it'll help the crop get started, it'll help the crop emerge evenly. A uniformly, evenly emerged crop is important for our yield and our quality, so we'll do things to try to overcome the challenges of this dry weather. When we get into that, we have problems with birds, we have problems with other things that kind of impact that. So flushing is not an ideal situation. It's costly, it's an expense that we typically don't feel like we'll have to incur. Takes a lot of labor, takes a lot of time and resources that we could be using on other areas of the farm. So that's something that's coming up. That's something that's going on right now throughout the Mid-South, and it's just unfortunately something that we're having to deal with to even the emergence out and put us in the best shape to have the highest yield and the highest quality. The rice industry is fortunate, and agriculture and farmers in general, to be able to embrace a lot of new technology. Some of this technology has been around, some of it's being further adapted and adopted to different areas, but land leveling, precision leveled, doing things to these fields that make them more efficiently to grow rice on. We're using less water, we're more productive, and we're able to grow rice on acreages that we feel like will consistently provide the production that we need even in lean years. So zero graded, precision leveled, even furrow irrigated rice are all other versions of ways that we grow rice we try to minimize the water usage and grow rice using less water. And we feel like we're able to do a great job with that. As we entered the 2026 growing season, rice farmers were indicating that they would plant less acreage. The USDA report, which is our planting intention report based off of a March 1 survey released on March 31st, indicated that that was going to be true. Rice acreage throughout the Mid-South was going to be down around 25%. The economics of rice, the pricing situation, the cost of production seems to have affected rice more than any of the other crops. Rice takes a lot of inputs. It's a high input crop, takes a lot of money. Unfortunately, the fuel and fertilizer expenses that we've experienced, the increases of, have driven rice farmers to go to alternative crops. That's not unusual from one year to the next when one crop seems to have a better potential than another. When we talk about the reduced acreage of rice in the Mid-South, we dissect those numbers a little bit. We realize that the rice is probably going to be grown in the areas that are most suitable for rice production. The most productive areas, the best growers, the most efficient practices, that's where the rice will be grown. We're fortunate that Producers Rice Mill has a footprint of our farmer family members in these areas. They're going to grow rice, they're going to do well with it, and they're going to be able to bring in a crop that's going to meet the needs of our customers and all of those that depend on Producers Rice Mill for their milled rice needs. We want to appreciate all of our employees. We want to appreciate the members, those that stick with rice, those that feel like rice is best for their operations. We're very fortunate to have that at Producers Rice Mill, and we thank all of y'all.